Chiney and the Windman are up early in OKC, where the Thunder will try and apply the knockout punch tonight. All that is on the way, but it begins with the game of the night, the performance of a lifetime for Tyrese Haliburton and the Pacers. Here we go, first quarter, Aaron Nesmith. Jay, what ankle? He was supposed to have an ankle. He looked fine.
What great kick ahead by Tyrese Haliburton. Just one of those phenomenal plays. Giving the ball up early and then making critical threes in a big run in the first quarter.
More Haliburton Allen second quarter here. He was sensational.
He's just getting around the corner because they were so worried about the threes. He softened the defense with those 2 30-footers early in the game.
He had 20 points in the first half. Third quarter now, it's a 5-point game. It's more from Haliburton. Puts them up 7, and then more from Haliburton. And Jay, on the end of this one, he's going to do Jalen Brunson's little celebration.
I mean, look, between him doing the choke sign for Reggie, between him doing Jalen Brunson, we have a real rivalry.
Fourth quarter now, down 13. Knicks not going away. Mikal Bridges would hit 4 threes. That would have made it a 10-point game. And then when Karl Anthony Towns makes this putback, it's a 6-point game. So the Knicks are right there, 4 minutes to go. Anytime there was a question, Allen, the answer was Tyrese Haliburton.
Right, that's the problem, is that crunch time also includes getting stops, and the Knicks could not get stops when it mattered most.
Yeah, you may have seen his dad was back at the game, John Haliburton, last night. 2 minutes left, Pacers up 7. Oh, we got a collision. Karl Anthony Towns.
Knee on knee.
Not good for game 5.
No, it didn't look great. He did stay in the game. Yeah. Hopefully nothing too bad there. It's Nesmith and Towns who collide. But in the end, a minute left. Pacers inbounding up 7, looking for a dagger. Where's the defense?
Well, they both went to Nesmith in the corner, Anunoby and Bridges. No communication. That was a problem from the beginning of the game for the Knicks.
Obi Toppin knocks down the 3. That's the dagger, and it's Indiana with a statement win, and that statement came from this man. Tyrese Haliburton last night became the first player in playoff history to put up at least 30 points, 15 assists, 10 rebounds, and record 0 turnovers. He also became the first Pacer ever to record multiple career playoff triple-doubles. Here he was after the game.
I feel like I let the team down in game 3. I feel like I could have been so much better. So I felt like I responded the right way today.
We've been a team that has kind of found a way to do the impossible when it always seemed impossible. You know, we just keep fighting. So it's going to be a testament to our whole playoff run. You know, now we have to be in one of the biggest fights of our lives and of our season, and it starts with next game.
That's tomorrow night, Game 5 in New York. Chiney is here, and the Windman, I will start with you. As you can take, I know you're too big a man to do it, but you could take a victory lap. You told us all before these playoffs started that the Pacers were a championship contender hiding in plain sight because of their seed. They, and in particular Tyrese Haliburton, very impressive last night.
Yeah, well, I think when you look at the Pacers, you have to have a coach that has a system that matches the talent. And actually, I think that in a lot of ways sums up the Knicks. The Knicks are there because of those things. But Haliburton is a player who rises above in the playoffs. I mean, he only averages 18 points. I say only like that's a low number. But in the modern day and age when lots of teams have multiple 20-point scorers, you don't see this guy routinely put up enormous scoring numbers like you see across the league, but he is a brilliant postseason player. He has got a number of amazing postseason performances, and this is the top of the list. And his ability to drive this team and take advantage of the rest of the talent is why the Pacers are on the brink of the finals.
Chiney, let me give the exact numbers again. He scored 32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, and 0 turnovers. What are the right things to say, Chiney, about Tyrese Haliburton this morning?
This was the best performance I've ever seen from Tyrese Haliburton, wire to wire. He's normally a guy that lets the game come to him. Instead, he was in attack mode from the jump. And what I love about Tyrese Haliburton, he loves to go for the win. He loves to go for the kill shot. We've seen that in the clutch. But no, he did this over the course of the entire game. And it really started for me with his three-point shot. He's normally a guy that likes to distribute, to get his teammates going before he looks for his shot himself. Instead, he either scored or assisted on all 8 threes in the first half. He knocked down 4 of them himself. So I was truly impressed in his overall performance, and we're seeing a star born in real time.
Look, guys, if you're not waking up today, Wednesday, May 28th, saying that Tyrese Haliburton is a superstar, don't talk to me about basketball today, right? Possession by possession, he's the best manipulator in the game. He manipulated every single play offensively last night by finding the right matchups, by attacking in transition, by giving hockey assists. He was direct and aggressive from the beginning of the game, and he affected and accounted for over 80 of the team's 130 points. Between points and assists, over 80 points of the team's 130. That is a superstar that we saw on the grand stage.
He played like a superstar. I'll give you that. He played like a superstar. The Knicks let him play like a superstar as well. Early in that game, their defense was awful, and he was smart. He was aggressive. It was the perfect storm. He had a bad game 3. He was frustrated after that game. And I give credit to Rick Carlisle, too, for getting in his head and saying, I know you want to pass. I know you want to make sure that everybody's getting the basketball. As Shanae said, she's absolutely right. He doesn't normally look to be the aggressive scorer. He was in the first quarter of that game. That set a tone and had the Knicks on their heels. Once he hit a couple of those deep threes, then all of a sudden they're like wondering, now what do we do? Do we play up? Do we play back? He had them completely on skates. He played like a superstar in this game when it mattered the most, and he does embrace that role of a guy. He does the Brunson Selly, the choke thing. He's loving every minute of this series and playing against the Knicks because he's playing up that Reggie Miller role.
So when you say played like a superstar, is that a caveat to him being a superstar?
Getting there. Yeah, getting there.
I mean, how many other things does he need to do to prove that he's a superstar?
If I want to get a championship.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay, Anthony Edwards hasn't gotten a championship.
Yeah.
Wemby hasn't gotten a championship. There's a lot of other superstars that have not gotten championships, but he's made game-winning shots in each series that have been defining moments.
Yep.
He's one win away from getting the stage
close
to himself next week. Yeah,
that's what it is. And again, superstars box office. Superstars, I'm buying a ticket to watch that guy play. I don't care about his team. I don't really like the team that's in my market, but I want to see that guy play. And the way he played last night, that's the kind of player you buy a ticket to watch.
Shanae, let's make an obvious point. The Knicks are a bad defensive team. They're just bad. They have sacrificed the moves they made during the offseason. They made themselves, which is the opposite of what you associate with Tom Thibodeau normally. They've turned themselves into an offensive team. But I'm just looking at the numbers. In the Pacers' 3 wins in this series, Shanae, they have 138, 114, and last night 130 points. To me, it's not a whole lot more complicated than that.
Yeah, this was the second worst playoff performance defensively by the New York Knicks. And I was just watching the game getting more and more frustrated because the help side wasn't there. The winning of the point of the attack was not there. And when I think about Jalen Brunson, going into game 4, he had the worst defensive rating of anyone on his team. And I watched the game, and it felt like almost every possession he was on the floor. Now, he takes a beating, and he's a stellar player. He is a superstar, too, if we're going to talk about people that, really are box office. But on the defensive end, they attacked him. And I think that was the biggest issue because your best offensive lineups can be defensive liabilities. And we've seen that happen time and time again. I was really frustrated because I was like, man, you have a team that is fully capable, but the connection, the on a string just was not there defensively for them.
Wasn't there in this game.
Brunson was a minus 16 last night in his plus minus. And Windman, you and I were chatting briefly before the show came on today. I think the MVP of this series is Rick Carlisle, who is coaching is behind off because if you look at the Pacers' 3 wins, Aaron Nesmith wins them the first game, Pascal Siakam wins them the second game, Tyrese Haliburton wins them last night's game, so it's not just one guy who's doing it for them. And the Knicks are a flawed team. They have significant flaws on the defensive end of the court, and Carlisle, I think, Windy, is doing a masterful job of exploiting those in all of the Pacers' wins.
Let me put a number on it. So last night, they put Jalen Brunson in pick and roll 25 times. They targeted him 25 times. And a lot of it was just Haliburton barreling downhill. And, sometimes he did end on the ground, but sometimes he just sort of got out of the way. And, he does compete when he can, but, as Alan referenced, a lot of times it was just very easy for the Pacers to get where they wanted against him, whether that's Brunson's issue, whether that's the guy he's working with's issue. In this series, when Karl Towns and Jalen Brunson are on the court together, the Knicks have been outscored by 24 points. It wasn't terrible last night. It was -4 when they were together. But that number, when you've got your 2 All-NBA players playing together, that needs to be better. And that's not saying that they're terribly flawed players. That's an ode to the Pacers and the way that they're able to attack and put the Knicks on their heels. And that does go to Rick Carlisle and the game plan. And it also goes to Haliburton and the guys for executing it. And I will just say, The same thing I said the last series when the Pacers were taking out the Cavs in 5. Had the Knicks not given away game 1 or let game 1 go away, or however you want to frame it, this is a different, it's 2-2 and you're going back to the Garden with home court. They did the same thing to the Cavs. They stole game 2 from the Cavs, and it was the same situation. After game 4, it should have been 2-2. So we can talk about the Knicks' flaws, but had the Knicks taken care of business on their home court in game 1, their margin for error would be bigger at this point.
Pacers have dropped every game 3 in every series and are undefeated in all the other games throughout all the course of the other series. Interesting. I will say, just say vice versa for Tibbs. And shout out to Aaron Naismith, because I think he did a really good job. But still, the last 8 minutes, if you go back and look at the game log, there's no way in hell, today being a Monday morning quarterback, that Jalen Brunson can take 3 shots in the last 8 minutes of a game, especially when the game got to 6. I know Mikal Bridges started to get it going. I know that at times, hey, Jalen Brunson's seeing a double team, but Allen, sometimes forced shots are better than open shots from other players. You can always get the ball back after you give it up and relocate it. We're talking about the best closer in the NBA today. We're talking about Captain Clutch. For him not to get the ball back in the last 8 minutes and only have 3 up shots, I think it's not only a thing that maybe he is a little bit tired, but also that's on Tibbs to make sure that the right strategy is in place to ensure your best player has the ball when you're only down 6.
They were running offense, just running basic offense. He wasn't getting the ball back. It's similar to Anthony Edwards, where they were trapping him. They were taking him out of the play. There was a couple of passes Brunson made that were brilliant passes. One to Anunoby through the trap that got him to the free throw line. Bridges made a couple of shots. They got it to 6, Jay. They got it to 6. There was an opportunity right there to win the game. You know what happened? Their defense failed them. You cannot make a comeback game after game after game if your defense can't get stops. And what happened? Siakam hits a corner 3, big corner 3. It was wide open. You also had Haliburton go right down the paint with no resistance whatsoever on the next possession, and that just kept holding him at bay. Then you miss 1-3, then you miss another, game over.
Haliburton, a near triple-double here in the first half.
I was just trying to be aggressive, man, just trying to play my best. I felt like I let the team down in game 3, so I felt like I responded the right way today.
Shot clock at 3, Haliburton for 3. And a triple-double for Tyrese Haliburton. The Indiana Pacers are 1 win away from the NBA Finals.
I'll be ready to go game 5. Energy in the building is going to be a lot of fun, and we got to be ready to go.
If I can steal a phrase from baseball, Tyrese Haliburton pitched a perfect game for the Pacers last night, a 30-point triple-double with 0 turnovers. And you called him, what was the word you used, the best manipulator in the game this morning. Show me why.
Possession by possession manipulation. They got 22 points in the fast break. And as we're going to see the play develop, just watch how Brunson here gets a layup, misses a chippy, okay? And as he misses the chippy, look at the starting point. Now, they're both at the same starting point, all right? Same starting point. Let me get this line here. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay. Starting point. Okay. Now look at as they get out in transition. Breaking out in transition. Breaking out. Breaking out. Breaking out. Breaking out. Now watch this foot race between these two and the thrust he plays with to get the ball up the court. Brunson recognizes it a second late, and that's all it takes. As he pushes the ball up the court, you're going to see it. He's going to see here. Now look at this. Look at this area. Here's what you're talking about, vision. The vision. This is an open gap. As a guard, this is exactly what I see. This entire open gap. Oh, Mikal Bridges, you have ball. You're raising your hand. Hey, you're right here, Deuce McBride. Josh Hart, you're on this man in the corner. Oh, your head is turned towards your big. You're not even paying attention. Oh, and Jalen Brunson, you're still behind the play. I'm looking right here at Naismith, and I'm looking at this gap. He sees it. The play develops. He kicks it. Boom. Entire open gap. Easy slam. Okay?
Yeah.
Once again, manipulating the game. As the ball goes here, once again. Now look at the player who's out of the scene, right? Karl-Anthony Towns is out of the play. He's done. He is done. He is done. Everybody else, foot race again. 22 points in transition as the play develops. This is what he really wants. You're going to see the play here. Now look, he really wants the vision to start here, guys. He wants, Haliburton's like, give me the ball. Please give me the ball. Because if he gets the ball here, you're going to see a series of things happen. Dive into the basket, flaring, and there's going to be a simple bounce pass here if he catches the ball. Simple bounce pass right here. Right? That's all he wants to do. So as he sees it, Nembhard doesn't see it. He doesn't see it. Now look. Look at here right here. Greedy. He's telling you what he wants you to see.
Right.
He sees it, right? even Miles is like, hey, he's open. By the way, where's Karl Anthony Towns? Is he even in the clip? He's not even in the clip.
It's a power play.
He's out of the play. As the play develops, he gets the ball late. And once again, the vision right away just sees it right there. Easy play. Nobody back in transition. Karl Anthony Towns still not back in the play. He's still not back in the play. Never even hits the seam. He doesn't even hit he's not even on the screen.
Yeah.
So it's those plays, the accumulation of effect, and the possession-by-possession manipulation of the game is what sets them apart.
And look, the Miles Turner point is remarkable because all of that, it just goes to show you the Pacers are just connected in that way. And in a lot of ways, the Knicks did not look that way. And you may ask yourself, is this series over? Well, according to ESPN Bet Sportsbook, it's pretty close. The Pacers are now minus 600 favorites to win the series. That means you have to bet $600 to win 100. What they did to the Knicks last night, you see not only what the Pacers are doing, and give them all the credit in the world, but you see some of those flaws from the Knicks. The question is, can those be, for lack of a better word, remedied in time to save their season tomorrow night at the Garden?
Tomorrow night, sure, they can be remedied, but the truth of the matter is the Pacers have completely stolen all momentum in this series, and now they just have to win one game, and they have just a few shots at that. And if you think about it, one thing that is going to help Knicks fans know and understand, your guy Jalen Brunson, clutch player of the year, went 1 for 3 in the fourth quarter. That won't happen again. I also think that they're going to have a better defensive effort. Like we just saw, I mean, there were too many wide open layups, turning the corner, getting free shots at the basket, too many wide open threes. We haven't talked about how effective Pascal Siakam was. He's literally designed to be a type of prototypical Pacer. He had 30 points, 11 in the fourth quarter, 2 for 3. So everything went right for the Pacers offense and everything went wrong for the Knicks defense. I think they will remedy that, they will change that, and they'll be better on both ends.
So, Windman, I think if we were to sort of take a step back for just a brief moment and look at this in the big picture, here's how I would describe it. In the NBA's Eastern Conference this year, there was only one great team, and that was a fully loaded, fully healthy Celtic team, meaning a team that had everyone, including Kristaps Porzingis, fully healthy and ready to go. That team, I think, would have been great. Other than that, you have a collection of good teams that have flaws. And what I think we're seeing in this series is the Pacers taking advantage, way better than the Knicks are, of the things they do well, and maybe more importantly, taking advantage of the flaws the Knicks have. And that's why they find themselves up 3-1.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think there's much separation between these teams. I mean, really, the Knicks scored 121 points. I almost feel like I'm talking about the Wolves from 2 nights ago. I felt the Wolves played a very strong game. They just played a team that executed brilliantly in the Thunder. The Knicks did a lot of positive things. We focused on the negatives, but they did a lot really well in this game. Brunson did have 31 points. He was pretty spectacular at the offensive end. We saw Bridges have moments. We saw Anunoby have moments. We saw Towns have moments. There is not a massive separation between these teams. That said, the Pacers are 11-3 in the playoffs for a reason. It's because they're getting it done in the margins and highly stressing out their opposition. And one of the things we've seen regularly is the Pacers wearing on their opponents. So one of the big things to me tomorrow night is the energy level that the Knicks will have. That's something, even if this series was 2-2, I would be monitoring, because some of the times when Jalen Brunson was able to, get beaten defensively, I felt he was just a little bit slow. So to me, the Knicks' one of the big challenges, more than X's and O's, is going to be energy. And I assume the Garden crowd will help them with that tomorrow night.
We'll have to wait and see. Go ahead, Jay.
I just trust the Pacers to play their style of the game more right now than I do the Knicks to play their style of the game.
Meaning?
I think there's more consistency in their pace and the volume, number of possessions.
They know.
And they know that they have them on the ropes.
Think about it. The Pacers know what they want to play. They're playing their game. The Knicks have had to adjust their game throughout the series, adjust their lineups throughout this series. And so now you're trying to figure out what is our identity at this point. Jalen Brunson's defense could be chalked up to the fact that he had 5 fouls, 6 fouls. Like, he wanted to stay out of foul trouble. That part's important. But the self-inflicted wounds by the Knicks are the things that they were talking about after the game last night. The frustration with the turnovers, some of them uncharacteristic, low IQ plays that they were making. They felt like they did a lot of things that were not typical of them in that game, and they're going to try to play a much cleaner game for Game 5 to stay alive.
Chiney, something that jumped out at me as I watched these Pacers play, because I live here in New York, I watch the Knicks play all the time. I'm not suggesting I didn't see the Pacers play all year long, but I don't watch them as intimately as I do. I was watching after they won Game 2 in New York. Pascal Siakam, who had a huge game in Game 2, said to Ali LaForce in the postgame, he said, the special thing about our team is that we don't care whose night it is. Like Game 1, it was Aaron Nesmith's night. And Game 2, it was Pascal Siakam's night. And last night, it was Tyrese Haliburton's night. And tomorrow, it could be someone else's entirely. And in an NBA where most teams are so dependent on one or two players to carry them every single night, the Pacers can look different places. And while we may not think they have a superstar, Jay would argue that, maybe sometimes having that many different places to go can be a different kind of advantage.
Yes, it is a system that is tailored to perfection. And what I do love about this Pacers squad is that they are truly unselfish. Ben Mathurin coming off the bench and having 20 points also helps you. You never know who to guard because everybody can shoot, everyone can run, and everyone can score. And if you're thinking about the Knicks perspective, you know that the Pacers are a North and South team. They need to become an East and West. You need to disrupt. You need to take away this flow because this has been the best offense in the NBA this entire postseason. And I know we've been debating the star factor of Tyrese Haliburton, whatever the case is. That is someone that people want to play with. He has that it factor that makes his teammates so much better. So from the point guard position, he had like a near triple-double at the half. The supporting cast has been sensational. So they've been really working the system to the max, and it's hard to stop.